Compass versus Zillow. The lawsuit happened. The arguments happened in court. And I was looking online to see how industry experts are reviewing it. So one of my favorite people to look at is Mike Delpreet. Mike Delpreet is on LinkedIn. He has over 40,000 followers. People really look to him as an industry insider and an expert. So on November 24th, that would have been probably around the time that we were all, enjoying Thanksgiving, he wrote an article called A Strategic Analysis of the Compass versus Zillow Court Hearing. So his take on it, just to summarize a little bit, is that both sides of the argument seemed to suggest that they were doing something that was in the best interest of the consumer. Quote, "There's so much gray area in real estate. I believe that if Compass agents or home sellers want to continue this practice, the private listing practice, as they've done for decades, they'll find a way. Neither party really wants to hide listings." He says Compass is just searching for an advantage that lets it differentiate while providing more value to its customers. And that piece and that line is one line where I'm like, is searching for an advantage, but is it an unfair advantage? Is it an advantage where everybody else has to play by one set of rules and Compass is kind of being allowed to play by its own set of rules because the way the rules were set up, it was meant to, it wasn't set up to apply equally to all size brokerages, et cetera. The way it was set up, it gave an advantage. And I'm talking about the clear cooperation. So every brokerage is searching for an advantage, of course. Now, is it providing more value to its customers by manufacturing a demand for off-market exposure and pushing this marketing scheme? Is it? I don't know. Where it says Zillow just wants to display all inventory for sale. Well, of course, because Zillow makes its money on people looking for inventory and hoping that the majority of everything is on there. But that was also the intention of clear cooperation, right? And then it says the number of coming soon and overall percentage of listings that are exclusive are down, but the number of total exclusive listings is still above 8,000. Okay, right. Now, here's where it gets weird. As of November 14th, which was the date these rules were going to be implemented, Zillow has banned a total of 48 listings. 48 listings, 43 Compass listings, and 5 Howard Hanna listings. And it just calls to conscience that we are talking about this as a huge, impactful decision. Everybody's talking about it. And yet the actual impact so far has been very, very minimal. Very, very minimal. So this really, he might be right that it just doesn't cause that much impact. Now, one of the commenters, Elizabeth Nolan, said, "Where is fair housing in the debate? Sellers have always had the choice to sell privately, whether as a FSBO or off market through a brokerage." Okay. Prior to clear cooperation, I guess so. Okay. But as real estate agents, we spend hour upon hour continuously learning about how to provide equal access for our buyers. How do private listing networks support fair housing? Isn't that the broader issue? And that was supposedly one of the considerations with clear cooperation, which was the mandate that all listings be entered into the MLS. That's what they were trying to make happen, equal access for all buyers. It's a great question. His next article, which was published just a few days ago, called Logical Fallacies, Seller Motives, and Private Exclusives, talks about how conflicting the respondents of a particular consumer survey, how their answers fail a certain type of logic test, okay? 52% of respondents said one of the most important factors when choosing an agent is that agent's ability to get their home in front of the largest pool of interested buyers. In the same survey, 45% of respondents said one of the most important factors was the promise of getting the highest sales price. So that means that 55% of people didn't consider getting the best price as one of the most important factors when choosing an agent. Okay. So that's interesting. But respondents said if they were selling a home, 39% would prefer to have it on a consumer real estate website, and 31% would prefer to have it listed on a private listing network. Huh? It's so odd. It doesn't even make sense. So what he's suggesting is that it doesn't fail a logic test. I mean, it doesn't pass a logic test. And to quote, really answer the question of where a home will sell for more, we would need quantum real estate, the ability to sell the same home across an infinite number of parallel universes to see which factors yield the highest sales price. It's just the point of the story is we might be arguing over a non-question, like something that doesn't even really affect too much how we're actually doing business right now, even though conceptually we think these guys are going at it. But in reality, they, prior to this lawsuit, were apparently considering partnering together. So, you know, maybe we're being a bit misled by the idea that this is actually going to change anything. That is Mike Del Prete's take. And I wish he was here. I invited him to come on the show. So maybe in the future we'll get him on the show. If you like this episode and you want to see more, click here for a playlist and here for the full episode.